Hey guys, so Goomba's ex-girlfriend, Nikki, got on all about the trees. She was doing a live with her, and she was talking about what was going on in the relationship. She says she loves Goomba, and that's why he's there. Not for her to jump on his bones, but for her to save his life because she thought and she saw where this thing was getting out of hand between him and Jaguar. Either he was gonna hurt Jaguar or she was gonna hurt him. But it was more looking like if Jaguar's was intending to unalive him. And so she says, you know what? I love him enough to bring him here where I am at my house to make sure no harm comes to him. But I'm telling you, Nikki has got a good heart. She's better than me because I wouldn't have done it. Not after all that PTSD, and I have 2 kids in my house that I gotta watch out for, and this man is exhibiting all kinds of behavior with he likes to fondle guns and twirl guns and talk about unliving himself and all this here. He and Jaguar, the mess that he was bringing to her and she was bringing to him, there's no way I would have entertained him in my house. Not with 2 kids. If I was alone, yes, but not when I have children. And put their lives at risk. And then she started to talk about if Jaguar and her were in a good space. Her house is big enough for Jaguar, the mama, Sam, and Legina. She would have brought all of them over there. I said, girl, are you crazy? Nikki, are you insane? You know, if you bring Jaguar into your house, I don't care how good you are with her, that woman's going to find a way of turning your kids against you, okay? This is what happened to one of her friends. The woman said she brought Jaguar into her house, and she was only there a couple of days, and she was managing to turn her son against her. She was telling her son that he was king and his mama shouldn't talk to him that way and all kinds of stuff. But if she didn't put a stop to it, Jaguar was going to take her son out of that house. That's what she said. And so I got to get back to Nikki now and said, Nikki, are you insane? Don't you know this woman takes people's children out of the house? Allegedly. That's word on the street. All right. So, and Nikki said that. I said, girl, you better than me. I wouldn't have taken not one of them in because of the drama that's involved. As Nikki began to talk, I said, wait a minute, this is really not his woman. This is just a friend doing him a favor because everybody was saying his ex-woman, his woman now back in his life and all this here. No, she's not his woman. She's an ex-woman who came back into his life, friends with benefits. They hooked up, but it ended there because it's clear to me she don't love him that way. She love him like a brother, like she would love a brother. You know, like that type of relationship where she's going to look out for the person. And I think the sex that they had is a sympathy kind of sex, you know. I guess she wanted to see what she was missing all these years. And then when she went there, she found out she wasn't missing much because obviously that didn't hold her. She said she would send him back in a heartbeat. If Jaguar was acting right, she would send him back home. And I said to myself, Goomba, you got a man up, brother. You got these women talking all kinds of crazy about you. How's she going to send this grown man back home? He's grown. He can go wherever he wants to go with whoever he wants to be with. But she going to open her mouth and fix and say, oh, I would send him home in a heartbeat if Jaguar would act right and she would apologize to me for saying what she did about my children. Well, guess what? You can talk all kinds of ish, Miss Nikki, about sending Gerald home. Maybe Gerald don't want to go back to Jaguar. Maybe he don't want to go home. And then she started to say, well, when Trees asked her about his family, and she said, you know, he allowed Jaguar to talk so much stuff about his mother. There is no way he can go back home and look at his mother in the face. No way. You know, he may want to go back home. But can you imagine going back home and you have to face your mama after you allow your wife to say that she molested you? He allowed his wife to tell the world that this man's mother molested him as a child. And oh, Gerald said to her, "Don't touch me that way, mama. Don't touch," in his sleep. That's what he was saying in his sleep. "Don't touch me that way." But we know Jaguar is a habitual liar. There's no doubt in my mind this is one of the things she was lying about. But Goomba couldn't kind of see the forest from the trees that this woman is lying. He would have had that memory if it had happened. He does not have that memory. She was trying to implant a false memory. You know, you can program people to believe whatever it is you want them to believe. Depends on how you manipulate it. Okay? You can have people actually believe in something that did not happen. It's called a false memory. That's what she was trying to do with Goomba. She told him, "You said that in your sleep. You talk in your sleep. And you said this in your sleep. Don't touch me that way, mama." And if you're not savvy enough to know that this person is lying and they're trying to plant a false memory, you're going to believe it. So this is what she was trying to do with him. And because now he's out of her control, he's away from her, and she can no longer manipulate him and get that $1,800 check that he's got coming in. Now she mad as hell because the bill, oh, they can pay the bill with all the checks coming in, but she don't have that $1,800 anymore, which is going to leave her a little short. She can't do as much gambling, as much drinking, as much smoking that fentanyl weed. She got to reel it in a bit. Her money is short now. So that's what she really mad about. So then Nikki talked about the car. She said she believed it was really insurance fraud, that he and Jaguar got together and put their heads together and said, "Listen, this car has seen the end of the road with all this driving we've been doing. We got to ditch this car. So let's burn it up and let's file for insurance and say somebody blew up the car." End of story. But there's no honor among thieves, people. There's no honor among thieves, because as soon as Jaguar and Goomba fell out, first thing Jaguar wanted to do was say he blew up the car. But guess what? If he blew up the car, he can say that she was part of it and pull her in directly as a co-conspirator. And he can implicate her, and both of them going to jail. But I guess Jaguar don't mind. The way I'm looking at this, Jaguar don't give a damn if she goes to jail or not. As a matter of fact, that's her second home. She's been in and out of jail within the past year. So it's her second home. She don't care. But what she wants to do is make sure she takes him down. You know, there's some people like that. They will cut off their right hand to spite their face. That's an old saying. You cut off your arm to spite your face. That means you need your arm, but you can cut that off because you want to spite your face. That means she would go to jail and do the time just so she can get Goomba in jail also. So she's going to hurt herself to spite him. That's what that means. She would go and do the time herself if she can make sure he goes to jail. It's crazy, but some people are like that. Very vindictive, very spiteful. She also talked about a sex tape. She said she didn't release any sex tape. She said she released a photo, but not the actual sex tape. So Jaguar can go after her all she wants and get an attorney and sue her for a tape that was not released. But she said if Jaguar keeps pushing her, she will release that sex tape. So Jaguar, you all know this girl. You keep pushing this woman, because Jaguar said she does not. Now she changed her mind, because before she said she don't mind it being released because she looks hot. I think she was on the Night and Day Network or one of them shows that she said, "Oh, I look hot. I don't mind it being released." Now she minds it being released because she got Sam to think about. She says, if Sam ever saw that tape, I'm telling you, I would find you, whoever, and hunt them and do them harm. Well, you should have thought about that, Miss Jaguar, right when you were busy throwing your butt in the air and doing God knows what in the bushes, among the weeds and the trees. You should have thought about that. Who makes a sex tape and you got teenage child or what is how old is Sam? He's not a teenager anymore. He's a grown adult. He's 20 something. But who the hell in their almost 50 years old going in the bushes and make a sex tape? I don't care if it's your husband or not. The only suggestion I have for Goomba is that he get his own apartment, get out from the grips and under the thumb and the foot from these women because they're highly disrespectful. They're disrespecting him. Jaguar is disrespectful towards him as well as Nikki. Nikki said she would send him home in a heartbeat. That means you don't want him, you don't love him, you just keep him there. You keep them there probably for the same reason that Jaguar wants him there, to get part of that check. Because clearly you don't love this man. You don't even want intercourse with him. Because it sounds like you one and done. So all this talk about, oh, he might be a potential husband, all this stuff, I don't buy it. I don't think she cares for Gerald in that way. I think she likes him and she loves him as a friend, period. He's there now. Now, since he's there, he got to earn his keep, right? He's a grown adult. So he got to give her part of that money and she's taking half of it. But this is what I have to say to Gerald. The same half that you're giving her, you can take that half and the VA will get you an apartment for a lot cheaper. You can get a $300 apartment and still have a whole lot of money left over, okay? That's how cheap those apartments are. VA benefits allow you to get an apartment out of the VA. They will find you a VA apartment. They set up apartments all over the U.S. for veterans. And if you qualify, they will get you into one of those apartments. You pay a fraction of the cost because the government subsidize the rent. If the rent is $1,000, you only paying $200, $300. Okay, they build those apartments for veterans. So get out from under the grip of these women who are so disrespectful, who are not treating you like a man, and go and stand on your own 2 feet. So Nikki says he's there because he really don't have any place to go because he burned so many bridges, friends, family, etc., that he really don't have no place else to go because the last time we saw him, he was in a bus station saying he ain't got no place to go. She felt so sorry for him. But guess what? That's where the VA comes in. All he had to do was call up the people down there at the VA and said he ain't got no place to go and they will find him emergency housing. And he knows it. He just playing on the sympathy of these women. But these women, he keep playing with these women and they keep disrespecting him. So a lot of it is his fault. As a grown man, you got to take responsibility at some time. You can't allow women to disrespect you in this manner. I'm sorry. I don't like to see our black men being disrespected. They get enough of that from outside the black community. And then Nikki talked about, oh, she was pulled into this. I'm saying, no, honey, you were not pulled into it. You forgetting, you inserted yourself. When Goomba was asleep, you went and got his phone and you deliberately called up that show to talk to Jaguar. I think it was the Kingpin show. Or the Sean Davy Wade show. And you wanted to square off with Jaguar. So you inserted yourself. Okay? You did not, nobody invited you into this. Nobody said, Nikki, they're talking about you. Come into it. Jaguar was talking her ish about you, yes. But you could have ignored it and you could have said, you know what, that's a mad woman. I'm not addressing no mad people today. Not tomorrow, not ever. And just ignore her. Like all them celebrities, ignore her. You could have done the same thing. But you got that man's phone when he was sleeping. And you made that phone call. You went through his phone, which was a major violation right there. Gerald didn't do nothing. All he did was get on the live and he was talking smack also. When I saw that, I said, this man is a punk, period. No man would have a female go through their phone when they're sleeping without repercussions, okay? You getting a slap down, a knock down, a beat down, a something down, but you getting something, all right? You don't go into nobody's phone, even with me. Anybody coming into my phone when I'm sleeping, oh, you getting your ass out my house pronto, immediately. I don't care if you're homeless. I don't care if you sleeping with cardboard boxes on the streets. I may not be able to whip your ass just out of GP for going through my phone, but I can sure ask you to get the hell out of my house. I don't know where you're gonna go, but you can't stay here. And just like how Goomba told her some secrets and she told Goomba secrets, Nikki is still salty that Goomba revealed to Jaguar that her father had raped her as a child, raped her as a child, or molested her. I'm not sure if there was penetration with the penis or not, you know. So I'm gonna say molest because I don't know how far he went with it. So I'm gonna have to say molest. But um, since Goomba revealed that to Jaguar, I guess Nikki felt as though she's not holding no secrets for him anymore. So she revealed the fact that Goomba told her something about him and Jaguar. And what he told her was when Jaguar was gone for 2 years and she disappeared off the internet, that they were really homeless, sleeping in somebody's basement and with no windows. And it was one of those situations where he wasn't getting his VA check as yet. And I'm wondering, well, somebody must have been making some type of money, but obviously not. Maybe they were on drugs. I don't know. Because you know, when you're on drugs and you don't have that much money coming in, you can go through that money quickly. Now, this is all alleged because I don't know if they were on drugs at that time. So this is all alleged. But she said, yeah, that's why Jaguar had disappeared off the internet for 2 years, for a while, because they were living in somebody's basement. And the basement, they had no windows, and it was a terrible situation. They were fending for themselves, honey. And then when Goomba started to get his military checks, that's when they were able to move out the basement and into an apartment. And I'm saying, wait a minute. So if Goomba wasn't around, what would Jaguar do? She's a big singing personality. She could have picked up the mic and go do a gig in a club to make money. She didn't have to go into no basement. And I'm saying maybe she's not being booked anymore. Maybe nobody wants to book her. Who knows? But I'm wondering why she didn't pick up the mic and get herself out of that basement situation. Or they could have moved into the mama's apartment, wherever the mama was. Or maybe the mama was with family and they couldn't move in with family. But I'm telling you guys, be careful when you burnt your bridges with your family, because you don't know when you're going to have to revisit them, okay? Do not burn your bridges when you cross that bridge, because you don't know when you're going to be coming back over. Or if you want to come back over and you done burn the bridges down, you can't come back over anymore. That analogy is for family members. You do not make bed with family members because you don't know when you're going to need them. So then Treese asks her about the current situation with this apartment. Were they evicted? And Nikki said yes, they were evicted. And the way they got evicted was kind of foolish. They let the rent go. That means they were just busy spending up the money with the hotels, the gambling, the drinking, the drugs, everything else. And she said the way the apartment, the way they fell behind the rent is because they let the rent go for a couple of months. They figured that rent relief was going to kick in again and pay for the rent, because during COVID time, that's what happened. Remember, people were behind in their rent and the government said they don't have to pay rent. And then all this rent relief kicked in to help families out. Well, that's what they were banking on. Rent relief did not kick in. So they were already 2 months behind, 3 months behind, and they could not get caught up. So they were asked to leave and they got evicted. So Goomba put out a video for Jaguar to be aware that the lights were going to come off on the 31st. Now, she deliberately did not take heed because she wanted him to look bad. She figured, okay, if the lights came off and we're still here and everybody sees that the lights is off, then Goomba is going to look bad for taking off the light and my mama is here. But guess what? Goomba did not look bad because he already told her when the lights were going to come off because his name was on the bill. When he took his name off, it was her responsibility to transfer, right? Get his name was off. Now it's her responsibility to put her name on that bill to make sure there's lights. So I don't know if they were behind in paying the light bill either, because the lights came off mighty quick, right? It came off kind of quick. Maybe they had stopped paying that too. But as far as I'm concerned, they're getting more than enough money, even without Goomba's check. Even without Goomba's check. Jaguar is getting enough money to pay those bills, okay? Now, I don't know if Jaguar is getting a check, but I know Sam is getting a check. And the mama is getting SSI, SSD, according to Nikki. And she might be getting a pension also because she is a former school teacher. So between all them checks, there's no way her rent should have been behind. And when Goomba was there, he was contributing that $1,800. I don't know if he was giving her the whole thing or half of it or part of it, but that's a good set of change. Even if he was giving half, that's $900 right there. That's more than enough. If the rent is $1,200, that's a chunk of the rent right there. So what happened to all the other money? So Nikki said yes, he did tell her that Jaguar told him to blow up the car, to set it on fire. So she would, if this thing ever went to court, she would be hauled in as a witness. And I'm telling you, it's going to be hard for Jaguar to prove that she didn't tell him to do so because they were married at the time. And the prosecutors would be looking at motive. What's her motive for telling him to blow up the car? The motive would be the car was shot. We drove it so much that the engine was bad, the muffler was gone, everything was gone. Instead of replacing all those things, it would have been better to get a new car. So that would be the motive, and that motive would put her in jail because she had motive and opportunity. So then Nikki said, yes, she did see the sex tape, but she didn't release it. But what was so nasty about the sex tape is that after Jaguar and Goomba was finished having sex, that same old bra that she always wear, the black bra that everybody's seen a million times, she took that bra off and wiped her vagina, wiped up all that sperm, all that vaginal secretions, everything. She used the bra to wipe herself, then put the bra back on. If that's not the most nastiest, well, I can't say the nastiest. I got to say one of the most nastiest things I've ever heard. How are you going to take your bra off and wipe yourself? What happened to tissues? Don't you have tissues? Don't you have napkins? Y'all are always on the road eating. So I know there were plenty of tissues in that car. You know you're going to have sex in the bushes with your husband. Didn't you walk prepared with your hand sanitizer, your tissues, your napkins, your whatever to wipe up? What about your rag with soap? I know you're on the road all the time. You got soap. You got water. You're always drinking bottled water. What happened to all those things? Are you that nasty that you're going to take off your bra, wipe yourself, and put it back on? That's pure. Oh, my God. I want to throw up. So then, you know how Jaguar always talks about, oh, Nikki's on them druggies over there. Let her and Goomba be drugging out and all this here. Nikki said she's not on drugs currently, but she have been addicted to ecstasy. She and Goomba, she said she left him because he was more into the ecstasy than she was. As bad as she was, he was worse. So she said he wasn't getting better or wanting to get better. And so he couldn't help her. She had to help herself by leaving the relationship. So she said Goomba told her that in the past, Jaguar did prostitute herself for food. When they needed food and they were down and out, she did go with some Arab man and prostituted herself to eat. And so what she did in that shop, the Jamaican store, when she was telling him that, what she got to do, she got to go in the back and maybe, do what she do, get on her knees for that plate of food. Nikki said she wasn't kidding because she did that before with an Arab man. I'm not sure if she meant to say Arab, but she said Arab. So I'm thinking maybe it was an Arab man, but she said Arab. And this is all alleged, folks. So Nikki said when Jaguar prostituted herself for food before, allegedly, with this Arab man, Goomba knew about it because Goomba is the one who told her. And if that's the case, I'm wondering how many times she did that. And folks, definitely that this was a drug type of thing. These people are on drugs, and this is why they are able to prostitute themselves for a plate of food. Only drug addicts do crap like that, okay? No person who is not hooked on some substance would do something like that. Allegedly. So then Nikki talked about her father doing jail time, 25 years for molesting another child. She said she was 5 years old when it started and she was 7 years old when it ended. Her father went to jail, but she did not know he did not go to jail for her. He went to jail for another child. Another family had filed and pressed charges for child molestation, which he got convicted for. And he got let out 25 years after he did his time. But she said she found out that her mother did not follow up and press charges for her molestation that her father did to her. She said her mother just let it go. Her mother might have thought she was lying. Her mother might have thought that, because some other family filed charges for him molesting their child, maybe that's why she said he molested me too, because children do mimic. So maybe that's what her mother was thinking. But she said she never got therapy. Nobody never helped her, talk to her. This little 5-year-old child. And she was 7 years old when he stopped because he went to jail for another crime. And so I'm telling you guys, when we do it in our community a lot, when a young person is raped, assaulted, molested in some type of way, boy or girl, we don't get them therapy. Most of the time, we do not get them therapy. So we have a bunch of young people and young adults and even older people walking around who has never gone through therapy. They still experience that trauma on a day-to-day basis, like if it was yesterday, because it's something that they're constantly working through. It comes up, it springs up. They don't know when because it's like trauma. It's like PTSD. They never get over it. It's always there because the therapy was never in place to help them. And we got to do better, folks, because in the Black community, we let a lot of stuff go. We don't help our young people enough with sex abuse. When that person is raped, sexually abused, molested, whatever you want to call it, we just let it go. We do not help them, even if the person goes to jail for it. What about the victim? The victim needs help. They cannot stay in that trauma for life. And that's what happens. We allow people to stay in their trauma for life. They carried on from relationship to relationship. They carry it forward. So we got to do better in the Black community. But it was a good interview with Nikki and All About the Trees, okay? Go check out All About the Trees. She had a good interview with Nikki, and Nikki came forward. She told her truth. She told her she don't ever have to pay her. She's just going to do it for free because she vibed with her. She likes her platform, and she's just giving her all the exclusive going forward. YouTubers, drop your comments. Tell me what you think, what you feel. It was a bombshell of an interview. She revealed a lot of stuff about Jaguar, Goomba, as well as her dad. She set the record straight on all fronts. Nikki also said she really don't trust Goomba because she don't know if he's in with Jaguar in this. I don't think he's in with Jaguar in this. I think he's just fending for himself. But she says she can't trust him. That's why she's revealing everything, because she don't know if they're in it together to, use her. So she says she's putting everything on the table to protect herself, to protect, I guess, her feelings, because if they're using her, she want a heads up on them to put it out there that she's aware of what he's doing and what Jaguar is up to. But I don't think they're up to anything together. I think Goomba is running for his life, and Jaguar is bent on making his life miserable because now he is with Nikki. So Gerald wanted some secrecy with some of the conversations he had with Nikki, not for her to tell all about the trees. And she said, no, I'm going to tell everything. So there is really no honor among thieves. There's no secret among these people. Even although Nikki said she loves him and she wants to protect him from Jaguar, she's still revealing all his business. She still don't have no secrecy with this man. So I don't know what kind of wife she would make in the future. If you are hoping to be this man's wife, and if that's your sole desire, you don't get out there and talk all this business. You don't get out there and reveal everything. Even to, she said that when she gets off the live, that he might be mad with her and they might have an argument. And then let it be known that if there's an argument, she's going to tape it and send it on to Trees. And I said, for what reason? For what reason would you do something like that? You don't want to be this man's wife. Clearly, you want to be in some SHIT. And you want to start SHIT. Just like how you went and got his phone when he was sleeping. You want to be a part of the mess. You're very messy. Nikki, I like the fact that you got a good heart, but you messy, 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 honey. You got to stop them dirty ways. You're dirty. You may have a good heart, but you got some nasty ways. Which man gonna want to be with you after hearing all this stuff about you? You like to get into people's phone. You're snoopy as hell and reveal all their business, and then you're gonna tape them, and you're gonna try to tape all the dirt and pass it on to a blogger. If I was Goomba, I would have left you immediately after you had that conversation with All About the Trees, because you revealed yourself. You told this man what you were all about, that you were the biggest snoop in the world. I never heard anything so foolish in my life, that you're going to be, you're going to get some dirt and you're going to pass it on. And you want to keep his name in the limelight. Why? You said you're not doing it for money. You must be doing it for maybe your ego, that you want your name out there constantly. No, honey, this is not the way to go. If you want your name out there constantly, start a YouTube channel of your own and post everything about your life. This is not the way to go. You don't try to now continue what Jaguar is doing, because Jaguar is trying to bring him down. But it looks like if you are trying to besmirch his name and his character also, because look at the stuff you said about him. And then you had the nerve to say if you find out anything else, you can pass it on to the blogger. You can pass stuff on. I said, look. So I had to reverse now when I said, okay, Nikki got a good heart. But by the end of that video, by the end of that interview, I had to say, run, Goomba, run. Get the hell away from Nikki also. Run. Run, Goomba, run from Nikki. You ran from Jaguar. Now it's time for you to run from Nikki, because she ain't no freaking good either. YouTubers, I'm over and out. Drop your comments. Tell me what you feel, what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and to this video. Thank you for watching.